Hi everyone, welcome back to 33 Founders. I'm really excited that you're with us today because I'm here with Austin and Jordan from Pure Fix Cycles. Thank you guys so much for being with me today.
Thanks for having us.
So we started out by talking about how you guys have known each other since you were 5 years old. And I want each of you to make the case that you were the cool kid in the group.
Oh man, well, for us growing up, like we had a really tight-knit group of friends, and there wasn't like, oh, this kid's cool or this kid's not cool. You know, we were all pretty
cool,
pretty mellow, and you know, we were nice, good kids. We didn't get into too much trouble, and we weren't in really a elementary school or high school where it was that dynamic, and we knew each other from such an early age. You know, in kindergarten, that we were just extremely close. Like when we say like we were best friends since kindergarten, we truly were like at each other's house every single weekend. You know, since the very beginning. So there was never like, oh, this kid's cool, this kid's not cool.
I admire that you say that, because if someone asked me if me or my best friend, I met her when I was 9, was cool, I would take all the cool factor in a second. So I want you guys now to tell us about Pure Fix, what you're doing, and how you're totally disrupting the bike industry.
Yeah, when we started the business, we were really just looking to provide initially college students with a really affordable means of transportation, and a bike that looked really cool and that was stylish. You know, when we were at college, myself and Michael, who is in here right now, we went into different bike shops on our college campus at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and found that all the bikes that we thought were cool were, you know, over $1,000. So when we came up with Pure Fix, we originally started with fixed gear single speed bicycles because they're so simple, and it lends itself to an affordable price point, and also allows us to get creative with colors and the way the bikes look. About a year and a half ago, we came out with a brand called Pure City. So really just playing off of the simplicity of the bikes and the price point of the bikes, but lending itself to a larger audience. So with fixed gear single speed bikes, you only have one gear, whereas with Pure City, we have bikes with multiple gears, and they tend to be slightly more comfortable. All that being said, our mission really is just to get more people on bikes. And for us, it's less so about you know, catering to that cyclist community, but more so to the average consumer. So maybe someone who hasn't ridden a bike in 10 years, and if they knew they could get a bike for under $500 that looked great, they would buy that. And moving forward, we want to make that buying experience as easy as possible, whether it be through our 500 stores across the country or through our online platforms.
So you guys, like you said, started this back when you were in school, and it scaled really quickly. What was the best memory from the first year?
Oof, there are a lot. There's my favorite are like the really old-timey stuff where we had just pressed like go on the website and went to get Chinese food, and before we had gone, we like tweeted and basically hustled a bunch of people on Twitter, like anyone searching Fixie or tweeting about Fixie, we're like, hey, check us out, and we did that a bunch of times. And then we were at this like divey Chinese food place by his house, and I got an email from PayPal saying like, you just got money in your account, and I didn't get it at first, and then we all like made a huge scene in this Chinese food restaurant, like, woo, we did it! And like the whole restaurant stopped, and so that like the first sale was pretty fun.
How about for you, Austin?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great memory. Again, like sometimes I feel like we have our head down so much in the business moving forward. It's hard to like step back and look back at things, but definitely looking back to like the earlier days when you know, we were working out of, you know, my parents' dining room, and then from there, you know, we were doing everything from unloading trucks and containers and you know, hiring our buddies to come and help us unload our first 300 bikes and paying them with tacos, and you know, there was a lot of fun, creative things that we did to kind of keep the budget down in the beginning.
I know one of the biggest growing pains in the beginning was learning how to manage a company full of people, because when it starts out with such a tight-knit group that really feels like family, it's hard to not only bring other people in, but to lend them into the culture and to figure out how to communicate with them in the same way. How have you guys done that?
I think we tried to keep it pretty close-knit, and we spend a lot of time in our office, and we all hang out, and we play softball, and we get beers, and so we try to keep it very, very close-knit and a really casual work environment. We're not, in suits and enforcing a bunch of rules, and so we try to keep it very comfortable for people to want to be here and want to be in this community. And so I think that's been pretty helpful, and people feel very invited.
Right.
And go ahead.
Just to play off that, yeah, we don't have a bunch of set concrete rules, but we do try to operate by a set of values, and as long as those values are being met by our team and our everyone that we are in contact with, we feel like things and our culture as a whole can run pretty smoothly.
When you talk about culture in particular, I know something big for you guys was making sure that you always preserved your relationship. Like you said, you guys have been friends since you were kids. You don't want to mess something like that up. Mm-hmm. How do you keep the two apart? Because when I first started working, like I shared it, I work with my family. I didn't even realize that I was calling my dad daddy in meetings, and was like, well, okay, that is super inappropriate. Can't do that. How do you guys keep that boundary?
I'm not sure we do, to be honest. We've just known each other for so long. I mean, it's been 20-ish years, and we're only 26. So, I'm not afraid of losing a friend or a family member over this, and so I speak to these people like I would speak to them normally, and I think that because we are so close, a lot of times we can kind of operate with very few words. I sort of know I'll know Austin's opinion on things before he has to tell me, because I know him so well, and so that keeps things cool, but also feeling comfortable to speak up if my opinion is different than what he thinks my opinion is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so would you guys say that you have a separation, or it's just come naturally?
I would say it definitely just comes naturally. It's not like I walk in the office and say, okay, now I can't act the same way I would around.
No more humor.
I think there's definitely a little bit of a separation between us and the rest of our team. I think we definitely try to keep things at a professional level, but between the three of us and having known each other for so long, there's really no distinction between whether we're out on the weekend getting a beer, or if we're here working. We treat each other the same way.
I love that. And something that Zach had said a couple years back was, in the beginning of the company, every company decision was contributed to by everyone. And eventually that's just no longer scalable. You guys each have such a niche with what you work on, whether it's sales, whether it's design, finances. How do you make sure today that everyone's just heading their own part of the business and you're getting things done fast?
Well, as we've grown, I think we've all kind of fallen into our roles pretty nicely, and the roles that we do have tend to be, what we're best at, and they tend to be pretty different from each other. So, I would never be doing anything in terms of coding the website, and Jordan wouldn't be doing anything in terms of, dealing with the latest spec of the bikes with our overseas manufacturers. So the roles are pretty distinct, and we kind of know the roles that we have. We do have meetings all the time, so the three of us will get together and say, okay, this is what we want to accomplish here, and we'll have separated meetings between our different departments, whether it be our art department, our sales department, and we'll all kind of chime in on larger pictures, things like that. But when it comes to the day-to-day and the overall operations, everyone just kind of falls into place and works at what they're best at.
I like how you bring it in to the whole team coming together, all the departments coming together. Sometimes, how do you make sure that there's cross-functional collaboration and every department is not just staying by themselves? So as talking about cross-functional collaboration, Austin, you mentioned that while everyone does their day-to-day, you guys bring the team together. How do you make sure you're getting the most out of everyone's expertise?
I think we've kind of operated in a way that we want things to be super collaborative. If someone has a strong passion about what the next colorway for the next bike should be, or how the website should look, or what information we want to give out to our customers, we encourage everyone to share that with the respective person in charge of whatever domain that may be. And then I think we eventually just trust that head person to make the call on that. So there's a lot of trust there. Like Austin said, he would never go in and code the website, but if he has a suggestion, it's kind of up to me to vet it and evaluate it and to sort of decide if it's meaningful enough and I should make a change, or same with him or the art department or whoever. So it's really free form. Everyone's door is always open. People are always constantly discussing and talking about what to do.
I love that you guys do that, because I recently just read a post that it's so beneficial when founders give their team members the autonomy to embrace different projects. So it's not just what the three of you guys say. Anyone can come up and say, hey Jordan, hey Austin, I have this idea, can I run with it? So you let them run with it and see what happens. How do you create an environment where anyone on your team can be the one to take the buzzer shot?
I think, if you were to know our values, one of our values is the team. And we make it pretty clear that we empower our team, whether it be from anyone in customer service all the way up to management, that, if they feel like, something can be changed or something can be improved upon, they, for one, can always have an open door with us and can suggest things to us. And if they feel like it's the right decision strongly, go ahead and act upon it. And it's okay to make mistakes. People are bound to make mistakes, but if you give your best effort and you're doing your best job each and every day at what you're doing, we can't ask for anything more than that. So there's really no penalties for messing up. A mistake can be corrected, and I feel like that's the culture and that's the message that we want to portray to not only our team, but to each other. So,
and also giving everyone the necessary tools and resources. If someone says, hey, I really want to do this, but I don't think we have that. Well, my answer is, well, why don't we have that? And, let's figure out how to get that, or how to build that or do that. And so just giving people the tools to be autonomous and take action on things that they want to.
One of the ways I know you guys have been influenced to do that, Austin, you've shared that one of your professors at Wisconsin, Chad Navis, is that the correct way to pronounce his last name?
Yeah.
Taught you guys how to prepare for different scenarios and prepare for things that you can and can't control. Tell me more about that.
First off, you've done your research, so nod to you on that. Second, I think it just comes down to your values and your mindset. Again, it's just if you go about things with the mindset that problems aren't actually problems, they're just challenges, and when you assemble a great team, you're able to overcome and do anything that you put your mind to. And if you have that mindset, anything is possible, and that's kind of the approach we've taken, and it's worked well for us, and we've been able to accomplish a lot in a short amount of time with that in mind.
One of the things that intrigues me most is you guys started out, so you and Michael were at Wisconsin. You were, like you said, you were paying people with tacos, which is a great way to get paid. But you guys were doing whatever you could, and suddenly the bike orders started getting more and more and more, and you were having trouble with capital so you guys could distribute them. And then somebody walked into an incubator with a Pure Fix bike, and an investor called you guys. Tell me that story, because that's luck. That's pretty cool.
That's that was sort of my buddy. When they were at Wisconsin, I was at Columbia in New York, so I had 5 Pure Fixes in my dorm room, which was the size of a closet in New York. And I had him
5. That's impressive. You had no room to move.
2 under the bed, 1 behind the door, 1 in my closet. But I'm not the best sales guy, and I couldn't for the life of me sell them to my friends at school. I was like, hey, I got these bikes. Do you want them? And they were like, no.
Because it was probably freezing.
Yeah, and so this was in winter, yeah. And so I basically went that semester without selling any of them, I think. I rode 1. We gave 2 of them to charity. And then I ended up giving 1 to my friend Ben Chichinsky, who was working out of a startup incubator in New York. And he rolled in with that bike, and the guy who operates the incubator, Daniel Wolfson, said, whoa, 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 what's that bike about? Because he was keen on investing in that space. And long story short, he gave us a call, and we spoke for a long time and really hit it off, and it seemed like he had a lot of value to add to us. And so next thing we knew, they flew out, and the rest was history, kind of.
Not a bad story.
Yeah.
What a great call to get.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So one of the things that goes with that gaining capital, gaining traction, is scaling the company. And as you guys have shared, you guys have scaled really quickly. One of the keys to that is scaling appropriately and planning. How are you looking at the next 12 months, the next 24 months to make sure that you guys are both meeting your milestones but not rushing everything for the company?
Well, we have a president right now, Andy Abowitz, who's actually part of that initial investor group, and he spends a lot of time doing budgeting and forecasting. So we're actually in the process of looking for more capital right now, and he's kind of leading that charge. And with that being said, we have a budgeted forecast for this year and next, and that kind of allows us to have a clear picture of where we need to be financially.
One of the parts of scaling was bringing him on. Tell me about that decision, because a lot of times when startups bring on senior executive, that's when things are really getting serious and you guys need to go back to your creative roles and let someone else take charge.
Yeah, I think it was an important thing for us because to bring someone in with that kind of experience, it kind of not only does it give you a whole new perspective on things, but it brings a lot of experience to the table. So, for us, like, we were learning everything as we were going. This is our first job out of college. This is our only job. Having someone like him come in and really start to put, certain processes in place while still allowing us to run the company in the way that we wanted to run it, and allow us to have the cultures and the values that we wanted. It was a nice synergy.
Was that a pretty smooth transition, or as a founder, is it a little bit difficult sometimes to give that up because PureFix is your baby?
It's pretty smooth, I think. Like we talked about how we all sort of fell into our roles, and his role was not really any of the ones we fell into. So plugging him in was pretty smooth.
So when it comes to the bikes, Jordan, you're big on constantly iterating them. Whether it's design or packaging, tell me about that. Do you guys implement creative constraints for yourself?
I mean, I think from the very, very beginning, our methodology was just constant improvement. A lot of bike companies out there come out with like model years. So, they'll have the 2010 bike, the 2011 bike, the 2000 blah, blah, blah bike. We didn't really operate with those constraints in mind, because part of that was because we were naive to the bike industry, but part of that was because if something is wrong, we wanted to fix it as fast as possible, or if we thought something could be better, we wanted to improve it as quickly as possible. So with every order, we kept iterating and creating, adding this and changing these parts and, modifying this and improving that. And so, we've just slowly but surely refined this bike over the years into something that we really, really stand behind and we think is amazing. And I think we do that with most things, whether it be the website, whether it be our catalogs and print material, whether it be, the content and messaging to our customers. We're constantly measuring and testing and refining and improving.
How do you do that in a way that doesn't make you go crazy?
I think just sort of knowing that it's going to get better each time is easy to, so it's easy to get behind. If we test something out on a small scale and it's better, and you measure it, it's easy to just flip that switch and say, okay, this is the new way. And we do that with a lot of things, and I do that with almost everything. I try to test it and measure it and let the numbers do the talking.
So obviously the numbers are doing the talking because you guys are selling millions of bikes, and we spoke about it a little bit in the beginning, but I want you to sell me a bike. Why should I have a PureFix bike?
I think in general, it's awesome to just get out there and ride, and I feel like, again, that there's a whole demographic out there that would love to ride a bike if they only knew that they could get one for the price point that we're offering, and with a customizable aspect to it that allows them to reflect their personality with what they're riding. So with us, we're not offering a bike that, you have to piece every single part to get what you want. We give you a option of 20 different colors, and usually within those different colors, there's something that really resonates with you. And you can buy that bike at a great price. And then from there, if you want to accessorize it and make it your own, you can get baskets and accessories and whatnot. But we make that buying experience really easy and also unique at the same time. So you're getting a unique, beautiful, affordable product that allows you to get out and ride and enjoy the outdoors. And there's not a lot better than the simple pleasures of riding a bike.
All right, so you got me especially with the little basket because I have a super cute small dog who I'll put in the front with me. So you convinced me to get the bike. I buy a PureFix bike and I love it, but a lot of, I think what's driving your success is how vocal people are about loving PureFix, and whether that's the press or just people on social media, how are you keeping customers engaged after they purchase it?
There's a lot of different ways. I mean, we try to be sort of the friendly experts in biking. So we'll have people that email us that bought their bike in 2012 and said, oh, I was thinking about getting this, and we're happy to help them figure out what they want, or if they need a new lock or new tubes or a new basket. So we keep people engaged that way, and then I think we kind of foster this community. So people are super vocal on our Instagram and our Facebook and our Twitter. We recently set up a little feedback thing where it automatically emails people after they order, just nothing salesy, just saying, how would you rate your experience with how would you recommend PureFix to a friend on a scale of 1 to 10, and that's it. There's no content beyond that, and it's been pretty awesome just to see the results come in. I mean, people are consistently giving it 10, saying great product, great customer service. And so I think if you have those two things, people will want to come back, and they'll remember that they had a good experience with you. And so the next time they want to get something related to bikes, even if we don't carry it, we're still a good resource to ask.
And looking in the future, you guys are going to go into clothing as well, right? If you can't say anything about that, that's okay. If it's top secret.
No, I mean, I don't think we're like trying to intentionally go into clothing and come out with anything that's like going to be revolutionary. But I do think we'll expand upon our branding in general and just come out with more PureFix, Pure City branded apparel and whatnot moving forward.
Yeah, just a suggestion: t-shirts would be awesome, but focus on the bikes now and then get to that.
Sure, it's fun.
So you guys now are a team of 24. And Austin, you shared that this started out and you guys were working at your family's dinner table. You guys have a great office, like we shared before, in Burbank. What was the importance of designing it that way so you could stimulate those conversations and the creativity that's constantly flowing instead of throwing everyone in a cubicle?
I don't think ever cubicles were ever an option for us, really. We really wanted to have, a kind of a family environment where everyone, had a fun, good place to come to work every day. We don't want this to just be, our employees' jobs. We want it to be, their life. So, when they come here, they have to enjoy what they do and enjoy where they are. It's actually interesting you say that because we're taking a huge portion of our website, our warehouse. It's about 4,000 square feet, and we're actually converting it all into office space right now as well. So soon we'll have even more space and more to offer to everyone.
When it comes to designing that, what are you thinking of?
We're working with our art director on just creating a great open space. So just a lot of different colors that kind of play to happy emotions, and just a place where you could leave your bike around, and a place where you can get up and go for a walk. Like, we have a lot of open space, so people are always getting on their bikes and riding to lunch and whatnot. And it's a nice environment.
Guys should create an obstacle course that you have to do with PureFix bikes.
We had a scooter course, but it didn't end so well.
I'm impressed. You should bring that back.
Yeah.
One of the things you mentioned, Austin, that really stands out to me is that when your employees come to work, you don't want it to feel like a job. You want it to feel like a big part of their life. And Michael had a great quote where he said, "I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing." this job, this company, this is my life. Before we close, can you each elaborate on what that quote means to you?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the way we're running the company, and I think a lot of it has to do with just cycling as an industry. I think biking people are so passionate about, and it's so fun to get out there and ride and do something fun, and everyone likes biking in the office for different reasons. You know, I bike to the cafe or bar. Some people bike to work every day, but we all sort of share that common bond that we all are just very passionate about bicycling and getting on the bike, whether it be once or twice a month or every single day. And so I think it's just really fun to be building this business where it's something I'm extremely proud of, and it's part of a cool community, and it seems like everyone in the office shares that, which is cool.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to that a little bit, I don't come to work thinking like, wow, I have to go to work today. I look forward to it. So, when the weekends come around, it's just another day to me. And when Monday comes around, it's just another day to me, because this is what we live and breathe every day. We want to continuously advance this company, not only for our customers, but for our employees and our partners all around the world. And that's exciting. And to be part of something that's growing and expanding is something that you can look forward to.
Perfect. So before we go, I want to end with the same question we always close our 33 founders interviews with, and that's on uncertainty. You mentioned that this company is growing so fast, and that's super exciting. And while I agree, with that comes a certain level of uncertainty. With every decision you make, you have a whole team behind you who's relying on you. You have customers who are relying on you. How do you make sure that that uncertainty never comes in the way of your creativity or the way that you run PureFix?
I mean, I think, there's always certain uncertainties here and there. I think you wouldn't be human if you didn't say like, oh, well, what if this just doesn't work? But if you let that act as a roadblock, you'll never get anywhere. So I think it's important to, kind of see the finish line before you get there, and then take the necessary steps to reach your goal. And, if there's a roadblock or there's doubt in the way, you have to push that aside. Otherwise, nothing will happen. You'll remain, stopped. So.
How about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, I think that what Austin said was excellent. I mean, I'm an optimist, and I don't often think about the uncertainties. I'm very focused on where we go next, and if I let the uncertainties fester in my mind, I think that would be pretty crippling. And so I'm very positive, and I'm just all about pushing the ball forward, and if things get in the way, okay, but as long as we're pushing the ball forward and pushing our mission and just trying to get more people on bikes, that's all we need.
Perfect. Can we close with you guys sharing how people can stay up to date with PureFix and start ordering some of your bikes?
Sure. Stay up to date with PureFix and Pure City on purefixcycles.com and purecitycycles.com. We're also at PF Cycles on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for being with me today.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.